Hey everyone, this is Zach, and this morning I did some number crunching for the 7-star Typhlosion raid that is coming up at the end of the week. So a lot of people have viewed my announcement and my quick picks, and thank you for that. Go also watch my VGC content. I did very well day one of the global challenge and would love if you watch some of those battles. But basically, let's talk about Typhlosion. Typhlosion here has a lot of fire type moves. It actually, on the special side, has a really shallow move pool when it comes to type diversity. Its physical moves are a little more diverse, so we could see a mixed attacker, but I don't know about that. And even if it is a mixed attacker, it's still manageable with little to none defense investment. But you see, like, it's just a lot of different fire moves: Lava Plume, Eruption, Inferno. Inferno is one of those ones that I think we might see because it has a 50% accuracy, but it also has a guaranteed burn. So that is something you do have to worry about. All these moves do have like Lava Plume and Flamethrower, and I think Eruption as well. Like, they all have a chance to burn, so that's something you have to watch out for. One thing I do want to note is that some of the spread moves, most of the spread moves besides like the Arcanine, because I worked my way back, like Heat Wave and Rock Slide and Earthquake, I did them for doubles, so it's a little off, but in most cases it's like a 2% difference, so I really didn't feel the need to go back and correct that. And also, if you want to test out your own mon, because I did have some people in the comments of the previous video tell me about a mon that I thought could be okay, I will have this shareable so you guys can check it out yourself and see how your mon does against all these moves. I just put them into this battle calc, and the one you really have to worry about is like Extrasensory and Focus Blast. Those are really the only coverage moves you have to worry about, other than, like, you're gonna see Shadow Ball and we're gonna see a fire move, and then all these ones with Asterisk down here, these are physical moves, so they could do a lot of damage if you're not prepped for them, but I don't think we're going to see most of these. I would have to say the only thing you really have to worry about is Play Rough, and if you're bringing a Flash Fire mon like Earthquake and Rock Slide, maybe. But where are the moves? Okay, so here are the moves I think we're going to see. We're either going to see Lava Plume or Flamethrower, something like that, where it's consistent damage that's going to hit all the mons. You're going to have Shadow Ball. And then I think that the other moves are going to be Focus Blast and Extrasensory. We could see Solar Beam come in for one of these, especially if it's setting the sun, but I think that Focus Blast and Extrasensory is going to be a lot better to be a problem to handle rather than Solar Beam, because I don't think we'll see a lot of water type Pokemon. Turn 0, we might see Inferno for the burn chance, which would be good because it doesn't do a lot of damage, and it has a low accuracy. That's what I mean to say. But you do have to watch out for, like, if it does hit you, you are going to get burned. If it's not Inferno, I think we see Eruption turn 0. I think that would be a good turn 0 move because Eruption is based off of HP, so the lower it gets on health, the weaker it gets. Smokescreen could be a turn 0 move as well. It could be a move that it uses more than once. This drops accuracy of your mons, which is really annoying in raids where if you're trying to sweep it or trying to get those last minute hits or those last minute shield breaks, and you're missing the attacks. Sunny Day to bring up the sun to increase the power of its fire attacks. It has lots and lots of fire attacks, so it's going to want to get a boost on that. And then Will-O-Wisp for those physical attackers. Speaking of which, when it comes down to these mons, I have 2 physical attackers, I have 2 support mons, kind of 3-ish, and then 2 special attackers. So let's get into it. If you guys enjoy this content, do not forget to like and subscribe, and let's talk about it. All right, so first off is Arcanine. I really haven't changed this since my previous video. I've just done some calcs on it. You can go Careful Nature. I think you'll be fine if you go the Adamant, you can honestly go neutral nature if you really want to get more off of that Snarl, but I don't think it's really going to matter that much. Snarl is just there for the drops on the special attack that are going to go through shields, so I think this is pretty good. You have recovery through Morning Sun. With the sun being up, recovery is going to do even more. I think it's 2/3. I didn't check from my previous video. And you have How. How is going to be your boosting your setup move. The good thing about How is that How also boosts your teammates' attack. So if you are with other Arcanines, you're with other physical mons, like How is also going to boost them as well, which is beneficial. It makes their setup a lot shorter and a lot quicker if you're giving them a +1 as well. So the thing I wanted to add about Arcanine is that Arcanine has the ability Flash Fire. You don't want to Intimidate because Flash Fire is going to make you immune to the fire type attacks, and that means that you are immune to 13 of the possible attacks that I have listed. And you can do either Dark Tera to take advantage of the Crunch and the Snarl, or you can do normal Tera to get an immunity from the Ghost type moves. If you are normal type with Flash Fire, really the only thing you have to worry about is Focus Blast here, doing about probably like 50% once you Tera. But if you look at the moves, you're doing, decent damage. This percentages is with the regular HP stat and not the raid HP stat, so you might want to check it out yourself. But it does a decent amount. You get a good boost from the Tera, so I think that Crunch and Snarl are just going to be the overall like good moves to go with the physical mons in this raid. But if you look at the attacks here, you're taking about maybe 30 at most from most attacks. The only thing you have to worry about is like an Earthquake or maybe even like a Rock Slide, which I don't think those are big deal. Even if it does have physical attacks, I don't think that you really have to worry about it, especially if you have the Shell Bell and you are going for damage with Crunch and Snarl. I think you can recover pretty quick there. And I mean, if you see that if it has physical attacks, just add some bulk to the physical. But yeah, Arcanine takes hits really well from this thing, so I think Arcanine is definitely going to be your one attack / support mon for physical like raid builds. Next up, you have Roaring Moon. I think Roaring Moon is going to be really good here because one, if Typhlosion sets up the sun, we get a Protosynthesis boost, and two, you get Stab, Crunch, and Snarl, and then you also get Recovery for Roost. This is basically just a more offensive Arcanine build. In all honesty, if you look, the movesets are very similar. The only thing is that Roaring Moon does take damage from fire type attacks. Now with the dragon, it is resisted, but once you Tera Dark, you will lose that fire type resistance. Now, I do think that if you're really worried about being burned, which if you're going with a physical build, I think you should worry about being burned, which is why I have the Lumberry. You could go Tera Fire to, like, once that Lumberry's burned, like, you have one chance to get rid of that burn, and then hopefully you can Tera Fire by then. But I think Tera Dark is good with the damage boost. Tera Fire, if you want to avoid getting burned more than once, I do think you will get burned more than once. And there's also the recovery that can help with that. But if you look at Roaring Moon here, Roaring Moon does a great amount of damage, unboosted. And that's the Snarl is going to help take attacks from the Typhlosion, and then Crunch is good here. And then this is all without any like +1s on Roaring Moon, or with the Crunch you can get a -1 defense. This is with just base stats. This is if you were doing the move turn 1, this is the damage it would do. With the Tera, this bumps up pretty high, and then if you have the sun, you actually get almost the same as a Tera boost, and this is the damage right here on Crunch if you are Protosynthesis boosted and Terastallized. So that is some really good damage, and that's without clicking Dragon Dance. Granted, if you are Tera Fire, you're only going to see this damage and this damage from Crunch, but I mean, still overall, that's, like I said, that's without a Dragon Dance, and that's still really good. You do have to worry about Focus Blast when you, like, before Terastallization, doing about 50%, and then Low Kick can do 50% as well, being a Dark type and being a pretty heavy Mon, but like I said, Low Kick is a physical attack, so I don't know if we'll see it. It does have one immunity to Extrasensory if you stay a Dark type. If you go a Fire type, you will take damage from it. And then one thing I want to note is that this is with the Dragon typing. If you Terastallize to a Dark type, you will take more damage from these moves, but I don't think it will be that much of a difference. But you have one immunity and you only take 2 moves right off the rip that do more 50%, one of them being physical and Focus Blast being a 70% accurate move. So I think if you can get like a Snarl off before you set up, it makes those Focus Blasts a lot easier to take. Yeah, but Roaring Moon is good here because it has recovery, it has setup, it hits it super effective. Clodsire is going to be my Acid Spray Mon. Usually in a lot of these raids, you go Special Attack. Special Attack is still like pretty valid here. If we look at Typhlosion, its Special Attack is higher, but if you are dropping it 2 stages with 1 Acid Spray, like, your special attacks are going to do really good damage. So I think here, I think you can get away with doing the Acid Spray special defense builds, but that's what Clodsire's here for. You have Haze, so if it does use Smoke Bomb or Smoke Screen, you can just communicate with your team, hey, let me click Haze first. Once Haze goes off, then you can set up, and then from there you can just click Acid Spray. Sludge Bomb does damage, has a chance to poison, but most of the time you're either going to be clicking Acid Spray or Recover with Clodsire, so it's just there for some damage. Tera Ground to take the Fire type attacks better, and to get rid of the poison typing, so Extrasensory doesn't do as much. And if we look at Clodsire here, its attacks are just doing chip, but that doesn't factor in that Acid Spray drops the special defense by 2, so this can stack up pretty quickly, but you're there to debuff Typhlosion, in all honesty. Now, when we look at the moves, you are taking Fire type attacks decently well. You are still taking a lot of damage from them. You don't take the Focus Blast too bad, actually really well compared to the Dark type mons that we see. And then Extrasensory at max 30% is not bad. Overheat in the sun can hit that 50% threshold, and the same with Blast Burn, but Blast Burn takes a recharge turn, which I don't think we'll see Blast Burn. But then again, I also thought we wouldn't see Brave Bird on Decidueye, and I was wrong about that. And then Flare Blitz, once again a physical attack. Clodsire isn't built for taking the physical attacks, so this is the only reason why it's doing a lot of damage. So you have 2 immunities from Thunder Punch and Wild Charge, which I don't think we'll see, and then you have 3 attacks doing over 50%, but 2 of them are only in the sun and 1 of them is physical, so I don't think we're gonna have to worry about these too much. Maybe the Overheat and the Blast Burn. More likely to see these than the Flare Blitz, in all honesty. And I didn't do any calcs for it, but I do realize a lot of people will say, hey, what about Toxapex? Toxapex basically has the same type matchup to the moves of Clodsire. It has a higher special defense, but it has a lower base HP. So if you don't have a Clodsire and don't want to build one, but you have a Toxapex, you can basically just do the same thing with Toxapex. So I put on the same moves, the same EV spread, and I'd have to say the only plus here with Toxapex is that you can go Merciless, and if you do get a poison, all your moves become crits. That's about it. Tera Water, so it's basically just the water version of Clodsire. It does the same thing. But next up is our special attackers, and that is going to be Hydreigon. Hydreigon is really good here. It's got Nasty Plot to boost its special attack 2 stages. It's got Taunt for maybe stopping smoke screens, maybe stopping Will-O-Wisp. It's a special attacker, so it really doesn't care if it's burned other than the chip damage. You have Snarl and Dark Pulse. You really only need those 2 moves, Tera Dark to get more boost off of it, and Shell Bell for recovery, because Hydreigon doesn't have recovery of its own. Now, if we look at its attacking things here, without a Nasty Plot, you're already doing a good amount of damage, whether you are clicking Snarl, whether you are clicking Dark Pulse, whether you are Terrestrialized, you're going to be doing good damage. So if you can Terrestrialize and get a Nasty Plot, or get a Nasty Plot off at all, you're doing great damage. On the other side, Hydreigon doesn't take fire moves in the sun, as well as these other mons I've shown so far, taking 50% from Eruption if it's full health, taking 50% from Inferno and getting burned if it gets hit. Fire Blast is 50% as well, but you have that Snarl there. You have that Snarl to drop the special attack, so that's something you really don't have to worry about. Focus Blast, it doesn't take well with 50% damage, almost getting up to 60, but once again, it's a 70% accurate move. If you're hitting your Snarls, you should be able to put yourself in a position where Focus Blast isn't doing that much. Overheat in the sun can do up to 70, almost 70%. Blast Burn in the sun can do almost 80%. So we don't know what kind of fire moves Typhlosion is going to have. I think it's either going to be Eruption, Lava Plume, or Inferno, and then as like one of the moves, and then it will probably have a secondary fire type move, like Flamethrower or something like that. And then the last one is like Flare Blitz. The only reason why Flare Blitz is doing so much is because this is not built to take physical attacks. You do still have things like Low Kick in like getting close to that. But like I said, Shell Bell, you should be getting good recovery with the amount of damage you're doing. And this is without a Nasty Plot. So the more boosted you are, the more damage you're going to do, the more recovery you're going to get. And with a lot of these special type moves, especially the fire ones, if you're hitting your Snarls before you set up, you should put yourself in a comfortable position. The next one I want to bring up, I actually saw this in the comments of my first video, and I was like, holy crud, I didn't think about Houndoom. Houndoom here is actually really good. Flash Fire makes you immune to all the fire type moves. You have Shell Bell, you have Dark type to take advantage of these Dark type moves that we're going to be using against the Ghost Terror type, and you're with the Dark typing as well, you're immune to extrasensory, like unlike Arcanine. So Dark Pulse, Snarl, basically the same as Hydreigon. You got your setup, you got your Snarl, you got your Dark Pulse. I want to say Mud Slap here. Do we have a better ground type move? That lowers, Mud Shot lowers speed. So Mud Slap is there just because it can lower the accuracy. So the high power fire type moves from like going into your teammates, and then the Focus Blast is going to be less accurate if you can land a Mud Slap. And once again, if you don't want to try to land, if you don't want to attack on Mud Slap, you can also go Snarl to bring its special attack down, which means you're taking its moves pretty better. But you can invest a lot into the Houndoom because it's not taking a lot of it doesn't take any damage from a lot of Typhlosion's attacks, so you're in a pretty good position. But let's take a look. Houndoom here, once again, you're doing great damage. You do have a little bit lower special attack compared to Hydreigon, but I think Houndoom is better here because you're not taking any damage from the fire type moves. Mud Shot is just a chunk to drop accuracy, so I think it's just like Acid Spray on Clodsire, really. But here, like I said, you're taking 0 damage from any of the fire type moves. Focus Blast is a big problem for Houndoom. You could, if you want to get this a little lower, you could invest more into its special defense because you are a Nasty Plot user. I think, like I said, if you're clicking Snarl, if you're clicking Mud Shot, and this move becomes less than 70% accuracy, you're in a good position. If your team and you are clicking Snarl, this isn't going to hit this damage threshold most of the time. So when we go down, you're not taking much. You got the Play Rough doing 49 to 50%, but like I said, these all with the asterisk are physical attacks, and I don't think we'll see them. So here with Houndoom, you only have 2 attacks that you're taking more than 50% with, and other than Play Rough, the Focus Blast, you can make your chances better here. Being a Dark and Fire type with Flash Fire means you are immune to 14 of the possible moves I have listed here. You take somehow, for some reason, you take 40% from, almost 40% from Solar Beam, but with the Shell Bell, I don't think that's a big deal. And the last one I am going to recommend is the Grimmsnarl. Now, Grimmsnarl can really fit on any of these teams, whether you're going to physical attack or you're going special attack, but I think it's going to be beneficial here, especially for those physical attackers, because one, it is a physical attacker itself. It wants to take advantage of Spirit Break to drop its special attack and False Surrender. The reason why I have False Surrender here is one, it's a dark type move, so it's going to do super effective damage. It's stab, it's going to help with the dark type terrestrialization, and 2, it does not check for accuracy. So even if Grimmsnarl gets hit with Smokescreen several times and its accuracy is garbage, you're still going to hit your False Surrenders. So I think that's really good here. You have Light Screen to help the whole team with Typhlosion's high special attack and its special attack moves, and then Misty Terrain to avoid burns. So this is going to be good if you are next to a Roaring Moon. You set up the Misty Terrain and Roaring Moon is protected, gives it more time to set up, and it allows it to do more damage. So Light Clay is here to allow Light Screen to sit a little more if you're okay with clicking it more than once, or if you think you're not going to need all 7 turns or 8 turns, then put on Leftovers just to get some solid recovery. That way you don't have to worry about Grimmsnarl getting knocked out. But Grimmsnarl takes a lot of these moves really well, and with the Misty Terrain you don't have to worry about burns. And with Spirit Break, you can lower its special attack, so it's doing less damage overall with the Light Screen and Spirit Break combination. If we look at Grimmsnarl here, you're doing a solid chunk with Spirit Break, but Spirit Break is very beneficial, being able to lower the special attack. False Surrender does great damage, and once again, it doesn't check for accuracy, so it's always going to land. The thing here is these calcs are all without Light Screen, so once you get Light Screen up, you're going to take a lot of these attacks better. But Eruption, Full Health Eruption, Inferno, Fire Blast in the Sun all do over 50%, and a lot of these moves here, like Flame, like that's not right. Fire Spin is not doing 45%. I'm just gonna erase that. Where was that supposed to be? Oh, that's the same as Inferno. That's why. Yeah, Fire Spin is going to be doing like 2% more. That was wrong. But Fire Blast is going to be going over those 50% marks, and Flamethrower can go over those 50% marks in the Sun without screens. The same thing with Overheat and Blast Burn. Blast Burn as well can do over the 50% mark, whether sun's up or not. But like I said, I don't think we're going to see that because there's a recharge rate. It takes the physical moves really well, even though there's no investment. The only thing you have to worry about is Play Rough can do a decent chunk, and then Flare Blitz could also do a decent chunk if the sun is up. The only reason why these calcs are more important for Grimmsnarl is because if you don't do the leftovers, if you do Light Clay, you don't have recovery with Grimmsnarl. So like this damage is going to stick unless you do a recovery cheer. So you have 7 moves, which is a lot compared to the others that can do over 50%, and you only have 1 immunity, being that extra sensory. But yeah, those are my picks, and that's the breakdown. Which mons am I going to build? I'm going to probably tweak my Clodsire so I can have a supporting option. We got Arcanine here. Arcanine might be something that I build because I think Arcanine with the Flash Fire is really good. But I think my first mon that I'm going to build is going to be the Houndoom, because when does Houndoom get some love? Houndoom can be pretty good here, especially if there's no Focus Blast. So I think Houndoom is going to be the one that I go with. Like I said, Toxapex or Clodsire can be good support mons. They basically do the same thing, and you should have someone, especially if you're running the physical mons like Arcanine and Roaring Moon, especially Roaring Moon. I think you need a Grimmsnarl with Misty Terrain. But those are my recommendations. I did see someone say Toxicroak. Here's the thing though, if you go Toxicroak and it does have extra sensory, you are 4 times weak to extra sensory. So I don't know about Toxicroak here. That's something that I don't know I could recommend. What did they say? Rain Dance, which would be good to weaken the fire type moves. Swords Dance, Poison Jab, and Foul Play. Foul Play is going to do good damage, but I think here with its special defense and HP, you're just, and the chance to take a ×4 extra sensory, I just don't think it's worth going Toxicroak here. You might as well just go with a mon that can set up and it's immune to extra sensory. I saw someone also say Skuntank, and I think this could be good with Kenai, so you don't have to worry about the smoke screens. But what did they say? They said Acid Spray, Night Slash, I think Poison Jab, and Screech. This is what someone else in the comments said. I'm bringing these up because they brought them up in the comments, and I wanted to like talk about why I don't suggest them. One, Acid Spray is a special attack. You're not benefiting from it yourself, so I don't know why you would use it, unless you're with a bunch of other special attackers. Then Acid Spray is good. Screech doesn't work if the shield's up, so you have to Screech early and you have to take advantage of it before it clears its stats. Poison Jab is good because you can have the chance for poison, and then Night Slash is a high critical hit chance and a super effective move that's stab. So it could be good, but with its 61 special defense, if you're gonna go a physical mon here, just go Roaring Moon. Does Roaring Moon get Night Slash? It does get Night Slash, so you could go Night Slash as well. Night Slash would be a good one, but I think Crunch is still good overall, and Snarl is good for dropping the special attack. So that's why I wouldn't go Skuntank. And then the last one someone said was Chi-Yu. So Chi-Yu is really good. You can't argue that. You get Nasty Plot, you get Snarl, you get Dark Pulse. You take the fire type attacks really well. You have a high special defense, so you could just go like this and go like this, and then was that a 277? That's higher than all the other attacking mons that I listed, but the Beads of Ruin affects your teammates as well. So if your team isn't prepared for you to bring Chi-Yu, then Chi-Yu is going to hurt your teammates. So if I'm bringing Hydreigon and you bring Chi-Yu, my Hydreigon's special defense is weaker. So if you have a full squad of Chi-Yus, go for it. That is gonna rock. If you are running solo and want to go Chi-Yu, that is probably your best bet to solo, is the Chi-Yu. If you're jumping into random raids online, Chi-Yu is not going to help your team unless they are also running Chi-Yu. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't say Chi-Yu there. Other than that, Chi-Yu is probably the best for soloing, but when I talk about these raids, I make mons that you can jump into any raid, whether you're going the physical set, whether you're going the special set. My camera crashed. Okay, so whether you're going the physical set, whether you're going the special set, you can benefit off of this. Your mons can come in, they can support other mons, they can hold their own. So that's the reason why I wouldn't go Chi-Yu, is because Chi-Yu doesn't always support its team as well. But that's going to be all. Let me know what you plan on bringing in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about my suggestions. And if you guys enjoy this content, do not forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my VGC stuff. I'm going to just turn this off because it's weird. It's frozen. But if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thanks for watching. That's going to be all. Till next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.